Yay.
Amen. Thank you, Craig, and good evening, everybody. Good to have you. We're in the 17th installment of our Psalm series, Psalm 25 tonight. Um, we know how we're doing this. We're going to read the Psalm. We're going to take a closer look and see how it gets used in the Bible, and we talk about how it's landing for us, what we're learning from the Psalm and from what we talk about tonight. So let's get into the actual Psalm itself. So I'm going to go straight into it. It's a little bit longer, 21 verses, 22 verses, I think. But I think it's a wonderful Psalm. And let's go through it now. Let's just take notice of what it's saying. I encourage you, if you've got a Bible with you as well, to have that in front of you if you have one there, so you can refer back to it. So Psalm 25, reading from this is the ESV translation. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Let me not be put to shame. Let not my enemies exult over me. Indeed, none who wait for you shall be put to shame. They shall be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all day long. Remember your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from old. Remember not the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me, for the sake of your goodness, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord. Therefore, he instructs sinners in the way. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my guilt, for it is great. Who is the man who fears the Lord? Him will he instruct in the way that he should choose. His soul shall abide in well-being, and his offspring shall inherit the land. The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant. My eyes are ever toward the Lord, for he will pluck my feet out of the net. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted.
Wow.
The troubles of my heart are enlarged. Bring me out of my distresses. Consider my affliction and my trouble, and forgive all my sins. Consider how many are my foes, and with what violent hatred they hate me. O guard my soul and deliver me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. May integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. Redeem Israel, O God, out of all his troubles.
Wow.
Wow. So that's
That's intense.
resonating already, right? So
Yeah.
that's our psalm. So just thinking about what we've just read, and there's a little sort of few bits picked out there on the right-hand side. What stood out to you as we read that together? Maybe there's some words, some images that you noticed. You might have noticed some pattern or some kind of structure. Was there a prevailing emotion that you could detect? And as we're reading it, where did your mind go? What sort of came to mind, or where did your heart go as we read? So we'll take a few minutes here now and just talk about your first reactions to Psalm 25.
Yeah, he's really pouring his heart out to God, um, especially about his own
Comes up
sinfulness.
a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of times where he says, he doesn't want the Lord to remember the sins of his youth.
Of his youth. I don't think any of us do, James.
You're quite right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And verse 11, he says, "Forgive my iniquity, though it is great." Yeah, so he's very conscious of his sinfulness before God, and he's really pouring his heart out to God.
Yes, I do think that is quite noticeable, isn't it? Yet,
I wonder if he's connecting his sinfulness to the peril that he seems to be in with enemies and things around him.
Maybe, yeah.
He's sort of thinking, well, that's why I'm in trouble because of my. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah. But that's not the end of his, and he's certainly grappling with that. I think that's really true. And we'll look at something a little bit later on, which may even show how important that is in the psalm. Yet, is he despairing? Is he how is he before God? He does say those things.
That he's trusting God.
There is a pretty solid sort of trust, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we notice there? What did you notice there, Rhonda?
I wrote down a few things.
Yeah.
I wrote down dependent.
Yep.
I wrote down, as I say, trust.
Yep.
Patience.
Yes.
Guidance. And I noticed that shame was written quite a few times.
Shame came up a few times. That's right.
Yeah. And it was interesting that he said, "Teach me your ways," the plural on ways, not way.
I see. Okay.
And so I guess that is, I know your way. You're the way, the truth. But the ways are show me your character. Is it the way you deal with things?
Yeah, or the way you deal with different things, maybe.
Yeah.
That gives the plural. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Verse 15 shows his confidence in God. My eyes are ever on the Lord. Only He will release my feet from the snare. So, yeah, he's faithful.
He knows where he needs to look. Yeah, he knows where his help is going to come from. That's right. Yeah.
And the where is it? No one whose hope is in you will ever be put to shame. If shame comes up in 2 and 3, and then it comes up towards the end.
Yeah.
So he's asking, what's he doing there? He's saying that no one who ever puts their hope in you will ever be put to shame. What's it? Guard my life and rescue me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. He's he's saying at the beginning that God can really be trusted, not to put him to shame, but does he mean he knows his frailty?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think about when was the last time I used in a conversation the word shame?
Yeah,
My shame.
yeah,
When was the last time I used it 3 times
Yeah.
in a few sentences?
yeah.
Nah. It's on his mind.
Yeah.
It seems to be on his mind.
It really does.
Yeah. And he doesn't want that. He really doesn't seem to really want that. Okay. Very good. Any other thoughts? Anybody else? Anything you noticed? Anything that resonated for you?
I like the 21. May integrity and uprightness preserve me for I wait for you. I think
wait.
sometimes we have to wait,
Yes.
trust and wait.
What
Yes.
what's the word I'm trying to think of? I think. What Bible are you reading from? Translation.
This one here.
ESV.
Charlene? Yeah.
ESV.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine says, may integrity and uprightness protect me because my hope is in you. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Yep.
The narrator just gave me a text. I'll keep chatting. I'll send her a link.
I think as well, it just highlights David's relationship with God, and being able to have some kind of, he seems to have some kind of direction there, and to to know, like in verse 10, for example, all the ways of the Lord are loving and faithful for those who keep the demands of his covenant. And, and it's just, so we know, it's just, again, it just goes, it just shows that he knows God and the qualities of God. And he just loves sharing, talking about those,
That's reminders of Romans 8:28, isn't it? All things work out for good for those who love him.
Of the Lord, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
There's quite a bit of repetition too.
There's a lot of repetition. Yeah. And in fact, I'll move on here, and that's actually one of the things I really noticed when I first looked at this psalm. I thought, I'm hearing words multiple times here.
Yep.
And that's actually one of the key ideas that to me that was really noticeable. So trust comes up. Just think about this. Shame. So Rhonda already mentioned shame. So I think that's at least 3 times. Then there's this idea of instruction, teaching, and guidance. There's quite a few verses that talk about that. So I've kind of lumped those together. Remember and remember not. That's there's a couple of verses with that in it. Keeping the commands. Sorry, go on.
As you can say, on thee do I wait there a couple of times.
And wait is certainly there. And he talks about there's a few verses ago, my rebellious ways, my iniquity, my feet in a snare, my anguish, my hope, my sins. But then he also says he guides, he instructs, he makes the covenant known, he will release my feet. So I sort of saw that as a kind of being a bit opposite to each other. Covenant came up.
Yeah, covenant too.
Affliction, distress, and troubles came up. guard, deliver, rescue. And I don't know why wait's not in this list, but we're going to talk about it. There is a lot of repeated ideas here, and I think that's significant actually, because he's it's poetic, right? It's definitely a very poetic, and he's using different words to mean the same thing. So instruction, teaching, and guidance. Well, it's really all the same sort of thing, isn't it? But it's very boring just to use the same word all the time. Guard, deliver, rescue, affliction, distress, troubles. It's more or less those are the same sorts of things.
Yeah, and verse 20 and verse 2b, they're saying the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's our parallelism, right? So that we can kind of even expect that now, that they will also, we expect it to be saying the same sort of thing. So notice the repeated words. Then there is also a bit of structure in this psalm. This is one of the acrostic psalms. Does anybody remember what that means?
Yes.
What is it?
It's every letter of the Hebrew alphabet, 22, starting off in order, the verses.
That's right, yeah. And it can be other ways they do it as well. But this one's the letters of the alphabet. So Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
So the first word in each verse, more or less, begins with the next letter in the alphabet. So that's certainly in there as a piece of structure as well. And obviously that just does not come through at all in the English. We already noticed the repeated words, and there's some little even sort of mini chiasms there, where they in those repeated words. So one example, verse 3: to be shamed, to be not shamed, and to be shamed. So it's almost like a mirror.
Yeah.
Exact same word in the middle of the verse there, and the positive and the negative.
Yep.
And I noticed as well, there seems to be this pattern of he's alternating between, he has a prayer phrase or a petition phrase, and then he expresses confidence in God, and then he asks God for something again, and then he expresses confidence in God, and he asks and he expresses. So just as we go through it, see if you can see that, see if you agree with that. I just seem to be, he sort of talks, oh God, remember me, or do not forget me, or please do this, or whatever. And then, but you will. So there's this kind of to and fro going on in this psalm. And the last comment, verse 22, might be a postscript. Redeem Israel, O God. You think, where'd that come from? That seems really different to the rest of the psalm. And commentators have said there might be a postscript that was added after the original composition of the psalm. All right.
He's applauding the Lord, saying all those things before he asked for forgiveness.
Yeah, he's working his way up to it.
That's interesting.
He's working his way up to it. Yeah, well, but it's and maybe that's a good thing. We think about it.
I don't know. I'd like to get right with the Lord.
You want to get it off. You get it off first.
I like to get right with the Lord before I
start. Maybe he needs to get his mind and his heart in a godly space.
Yeah.
Then he can. But it's interesting, isn't it? A lot of the other psalms we've done, they seem to start off, very kind of in distress, don't they?
Yes.
But this one hasn't. This one is started off more confident, and then he comes out in the middle. All right. So that's just some little structural things. Let's. And speaking of another structure, this is one of the commentaries. Possible chiasm in the whole thing. So you can see the pattern there. The first 3 verses mirror the last
Yeah.
3 verses,
Verses. Yep.
which means that the middle verse, which is, so one of the things we've sort of learned is that with this chiasm structure, that it's pointing towards the thing that's in the middle. And guess what's in the middle?
Forgive me.
For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my guilt, for it is great. So maybe that's the hinge of the whole psalm. Maybe he's wrestling with something. The psalmist, he's got this is on his mind, this is on his heart, and he's kind of communicating here with God. He's feeling this. He's trying to remind himself of what God wants, remember God's promises, and there it is, bang in the middle. I don't know. That's just a sort of a theory, but it does seem like there is something troubling him, and this is helping him to deal with it. I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts about that.
Yeah. For the sake of your name, what do you mean by that, Andrew? I mean, for the sake of your name, forgive. Yeah, it's the sake of his name, not God's. What do you mean by that?
For your name's sake. So and we've seen this kind of thing before, I think. So for God's reputation's sake.
Yeah.
So because that's the way God is, I guess. Don't let me be overrun by the enemies.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I think, what Barry was saying before.
Yeah. Okay.
He's seeing a connection there. Yeah. So name and reputation very much go together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just trying to sort narrator out with a she just can't get on. So Craig?
Yep.
Do you have narrator's details?
No, I only have Phil's.
Oh, okay. Let me. I'm sorry. Let me text you her details, and can you see if you can sort her out, please?
Yep.
I'll just. All right. I think that's correct. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's bear that in mind. Okay. So let's look now at the detail of the psalm. So to you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, in you I trust. Let me not be put to shame. Let not my enemies exult over me. Indeed, none who wait for you shall be put to shame. They shall be ashamed who are wantonly treacherous. Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. So a couple of things. When he says I lift up my soul, so that word is nephesh. And we've seen that before, which is it's kind of like my life.
I
lift up my soul. So what is that? I lift up my soul. The idea is it's a fervent prayer.
Yeah.
God, I'm coming to you, like with my whole life, my whole being. I'm coming to you in prayer. Then we notice in verse 2 and 3 there you can see the word shame. Well, 3 times, really, isn't it? Let me not be put to shame, i.e. don't let the enemies win. No one who waits for you shall be put to shame, but those who are wantonly treacherous will be ashamed. So it's about being on the side of God. But what do we think it means in verse 3 to wait for God, waiting for the Lord. What does that mean?
Where's that in verse 3?
3.
Would you read yours,
Yeah, it's
please?
not in my version.
Okay, what do you guys say?
Hope.
No one whose hope in you will
Yeah.
no one whose hope in you will ever be put to shame.
Okay, let's check it out. So what we'll do here, we will, you still see the screen?
Yeah.
So we'll go to verse 3. No one awaits is that translation. So here the word, this kava, it's translated here as wait on you. We'll look at the detail of this word. Yeah, to wait, look for, hope, expect. So what did yours say, Barry?
No one whose hope is in you.
Hope,
will
okay.
ever
So
be-
that's another choice, isn't it?
Hmm.
So that's, which actually gives us a bit of an insight into what the word means. So you can see sometimes it's translated wait 29 times, look 13 times, etc., etc. So they'd have these choices. So that's interesting. Yeah.
The
So-
New Living
what does-
Translation. Sorry, Andrew. The New
Go
Living.
ahead, James.
The New Living Translation says, "No one who trusts in you will ever be disgraced." So,
Okay, well, that's answering our question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's this idea of, yeah, it's so waiting is really to wait for the Lord, or wait upon the Lord. It's to not take things into your own hands, I think,
Yeah.
without God turning up, So that's trust. It's a reliance, isn't it? And so waiting for the Lord. So no one who trusts God shall be put to shame. No one who hopes in God shall be put to shame. So I think it's this idea of trust and reliance. In the end of the psalm, the word comes up again in, what does yours say in
21.
21, is it?
Yeah, because my hope is in you.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Integrity and uprightness protect me because my hope is in you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So hope is the way it's being translated by most. Okay. So I just thought we'd ask what waiting means. Well, he's God running late, is he? Okay. So yeah, it's a reliance, it's a trust, isn't it? And then he says, make me to know your ways, O Lord, teach me your paths there. So he has a desire, doesn't he, to understand what God's ways are, what the paths really are. And that reminds us of Psalm 1.
Do you think that, all right. I think ways, teach me how to behave more than paths.
It's a way of living, a way of walking,
Yeah.
a lifestyle.
Yes.
And you might remember from Psalm 1, basically there was the two ways.
Yes.
And,
Yep.
And really a way of righteousness and a way of unrighteousness. Make the choice. That's kind of
no. I'm saying that I think that's a bit ways and way are different.
Do you?
Because in Psalm 1, they are talking about the way of righteousness.
Okay.
The way, the truth, and the life. But here, it's plural.
Yeah. I think that all these ways I think all
Yeah.
these ways are in the same bucket.
Yeah, all right.
They are all righteous ways.
Yes.
Your wicked ways or your righteous ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's and maybe it just applies to different circumstances or something like that. I don't think there's multiple. I don't think it's talking about multiple paths up the mountain or anything.
Oh, no.
Like, yeah. Teach me your paths.
Yep.
So what would it take? What would it take to know something or to be taught something? What does that take from us?
Effort.
Or humility too.
And humility. Yeah. Anything else? Definitely humility.
What was the...
Time.
What was that?
Time.
I couldn't catch it.
Time.
Time?
Yeah.
We can,
Yeah.
Okay. It's
Time.
not learn overnight. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I think it's starting to talk about a teachableness, a humility, and an eagerness
Mhm.
and an awareness, isn't it? That hey, I don't have all this figured out. I need to learn. I need to be humble here and learn. God's ways are not my way, or my ways are not God's ways, sort of thing. So that's, and I guess what he's doing, he's expressing that God, I want to know your ways. That's part of what it means for me to trust you, as he said in verse 2. All right. Okay, 5 to 8. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all the day long. There's that word again. Remember your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from old. Remember not the sins of my youth or my transgressions. According to your steadfast love, remember me, for the sake of your goodness, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord, therefore he instructs sinners in his way. All right. Anything stand out there as we read it?
I've got a picture of a waiter,
Okay.
and if I am waiting on someone, as in serving them, then I am standing by, waiting for their to finish this meal.
Yep. Or their instruction or whatever.
Instruction, yeah.
And that's perfectly okay,
Yeah,
because that's my job.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And the other thing I just had a thought too, if you don't, I'll stop talking then, Andrew, I'm sorry.
I don't believe that. Yeah.
Getting back to ways, teach me your ways.
Yes.
If you want to make something, you say, well, show me the way to do it.
Yep. Yep.
It's yeah.
Still bothering you.
Hey?
Still bothering you.
It is.
Yeah.
That's not bothering me. I think it's right in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, now I'll stop talking.
All right. Very good.
Just leave it in your mind for a minute and then see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about this already. What do you think it means to wait on God? Is he running late? No. So it's just hoping it's a poised expectation. I'm not going to run ahead of God here. I'm not going to take things into my own hands. I want to learn. I want to be taught by God and do things his way always. Okay. I think that's what he's saying there in verse 5.
Be patient. Be patient.
Be patient. Yeah. It may not happen when and how we want. Yeah. But it's having that humble, just standing by expectantly, but yeah, just humbly. Yeah. And it may take time, may require patience. I think that's true.
I think we need to be patient with ourselves too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is not easy to do when you're young. But from my age, when I look at the journey that I've made,
Yeah.
I realised that, I needed patience because, the gradual understanding.
Yeah. The deepening is it's an increase. It's a wisdom acquired over time. Yeah.
I think that, remember our version, or the NIV read in verse 7, remember not the sins of my youth and my rebellious ways. And when I read that, it sent me back to thinking, the sins of my younger days. But one thing that's really stood out for me, out of all, you can obviously analyze your own sins and that, but I think the one thing obvious for me is that, I just did things my way, and things, didn't always turn out for the best. But just in this, and that obviously, that is, it really is sinning against God. You're not waiting for God, and that. So, it's sort of.
I think that's really true, and it's almost like the psalmist is trying to teach himself to just, to slow down here. Learn God's ways. Just build this trust. That's the sense that I get from this.
Yeah.
What's he doing in verse 6 and 7 with this remembering? What he's saying to God?
Yeah.
Hey, God, remember your mercy. What's going on? Does he think God's has forgotten, or what do you think's actually happening here in 6 and 7?
He's probably feeling guilty.
And he would really like God to remember that he's merciful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's almost it's a little bit odd that he's telling God to remember something. Do you think, or is it just poetic? What does it indicate? If you think you can say to God, "Remember your mercy,"
A close relationship he has with God.
Yes. I think it does point to the kind of relationship that, and you think of people we're close to. We might say things. Look, don't forget X, Y, Z, or please remember da 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 da. And it's not a criticism, is it? It's just we feel confident that we can do the reminding of the thing that's important to us. I think that talks about. So I think that is showing a level of intimacy.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too, but I'm not talking.
Remember your mercy and your steadfast love, for they've been from old. So it's actually a compliment, isn't it? Remember not the sins of my youth. Yeah, don't remember those ones. But again, he is owning it. But according to your steadfast love, remember me. So God, don't remember me according to my sin. Remember me according to your steadfast love.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is verse 8, what is God's good and upright response to sinners?
Therefore he instructs sinners. What is he? Oh no, I'm not talking, am I?
He instructs them, and
Did we expect that?
Mm-hmm.
Did we expect that? Because of God's righteousness, what does he do about sinners, does it say here? He instructs them.
Mm.
So
He
that they can be,
nukes them.
what's that?
He nukes them.
He nukes. Well, that's what you kind of almost expect, isn't it?
Mm.
And so it's quite noticeable that no, not at all. He instructs because he knows that we are sinful. He knows that we are dust. And again, this I think this points to the intimacy that the psalmist is feeling here. Good and upright is the Lord. He instructs sinners in his way. He does not remember the sins of my youth. Rather, he's on the side of helping me be the person I need to be and to protect.
It reminds me of go and sin no more. Who is here to condemn you?
No one condemns you. Yeah.
And then instructs. He's not going crook on her. He says, "Go and sin no more." That's the That's the instruction.
Yeah. Through the words. Yeah. It's quite wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's excellent.
And in fact, these 4 verses here, there's almost a mirror here. Verse 5 talks about teaching. Verse 8 talks about instructing. And in the middle, we've got this stuff about remembering. So there's this little kind of structure in here. And so my question is here, do you see God's grace working in these verses? Walking in the right path is required, but God is patiently showing the way. It's patiently instructing. He's showing us what to do. He's showing us how to live. He still needs to remain righteous, and so he can't overlook sin completely. But he says, okay, this is what we need to do moving forwards. Okay, so I think that's sort of God's grace operating there like that.
I see this also as God God discipling us as well. And just ever so patiently as well. Just constantly working on us, fine tuning, just little by little.
Terrific. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. All the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and his testimonies. For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my guilt, for it is great. Who is the man who fears the Lord? Him will he instruct in the way that he should choose.
Wow.
So how does God lead and teach? What does it take from us? Kind of talked about this before. Who gets taught?
Man who fears the Lord.
The fears the Lord, and what's in his heart? Verse 9.
God opposes the proud, gives grace to the humble.
To the humble. So talking about grace, that's the ingredient, isn't it? It's the humility. He leads the humble in what is right and teaches the humble his way. So it's about being teachable. And I think maybe David in the psalm is saying, God, help me to be teachable. I know I need to be teachable here. May not be that easy for a king. I don't know. Verse 10, all the paths of the Lord are steadfast love and faithfulness. So that's that word he said. We might have come across that before. There's this God's sort of everlasting loving kindness is one of the frequent descriptions of God. Is God's character in the Old Testament is this he said, steadfast love. Loving kindness is another way it gets translated quite a lot. So we've got the paths of the Lord now, Rhonda. Not just the ways now, we've got the paths of the Lord as well. And all of them are similar. the steadfast love and faithfulness for those who keep his covenant and testimony. So the goal there is clear. God wants to be, faithfully loving for those who want to keep his covenant and his laws. In verse 11, I thought was interesting here is the fact that this sort of the big confession in the middle, pardon my guilt for it is great. He's wrapped that. If you look at what's in verse 9 and 10, and then he talks about his guilt in verse 11, and then in 12 he talks about being humble and teachable. So, yeah, what do we think about that as a pattern? Is that something we can learn from? Is that something we could use in our own prayer? What do you think?
Yep.
We'll just get it off our chest at the beginning.
Yeah, I often think, Andrew, and it might apply to perhaps all of us, that when you have those, well, for me, it's rather a rare occasion when you really draw near to the Lord and have some sense of his presence, you also realise how sinful you are. And just the two sort of go together, I think. And perhaps that's what's happening with David here. He's drawn in a very close and intimate time with the Lord, and he just feels a great presence of his own unworthiness.
Yeah.
Reminds me of, I think it was Peter when he went fishing after Jesus' death.
Yeah.
And, that was Jesus says, "How's the fishing, Peter?" He says, "Lousy, I haven't caught a thing." He says, "Throw the net on the other side of the boat." And he gets this incredible catch of fish. And then at some point, Peter recognizes Jesus and he says, I think this is the episode, he says, "Get away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man." He sort of just really recognizes the depths of his own sinfulness in that moment.
I think that might be very early in Peter's relationship with the Lord.
Maybe that was at the beginning.
I think,
when he
it
first
was quite early, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, first encounter, not the last encounter. Okay.
But James, sorry, Andrew, I just into that one with James. But James, I can relate to that of when that sense of feeling that closeness to God, and then all of a sudden it's like I can see my iniquities clearer. It's totally a different. I'm not going to harp on the word feeling, but it's you see things in the light, I suppose. Yeah.
And I think there's so many more failings that you recognise that you didn't realise were not particularly right.
Yes.
So true. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all of that.
I had one little thought.
Yeah.
That if repentance is metanoia, which is changing your mind, then the easiest way to change your mind is to be taught something different.
Yeah.
Right.
So they do sandwich together kind of neatly. It's not so much about feeling bad about what you've done, but changing your mind about how you follow God.
Rethink, repent, rethink. Yeah.
Yeah, and relearn too.
Relearn.
Okay.
I think that's a great. Hi, Naren. I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
And also that makes sense when you think about there's so many references to teaching and instruction in this psalm, and humility, which is all about learning new ways to think about things. Yeah. Fantastic.
Mm.
All right.
Awesome.
His soul shall abide in well-being, and his offspring shall inherit the land. The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear him, and he makes known to them his covenant. My eyes are ever toward the Lord, for he will pluck my feet out of the net. Turn to me and be gracious to me, for I am lonely and afflicted.
Wow. Deep, man.
So, yeah. So, yeah. How does Charlene?
Yeah, I know.
You're responding there.
Yeah. It's often the case. It's like, wow, that's me. There's yeah, I can't describe that feeling.
Okay. But you really connect with that,
Yeah,
what it's saying there.
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mm.
Mm.
Turn to me and be gracious. Because that's what we want, isn't it? If we're feeling that way, if we are feeling lonely, we are feeling afflicted, what do we want? We want connection, and we want graciousness. And that's what he's saying. Turn to me. Because right now, so it's like maybe God's looking the other way. I don't know. He said, but turn to me. And so verse 15, my eyes are ever towards them. I'm always looking at you, God. But turn to me now and be gracious to me, for I'm lonely and afflicted. So he's very vulnerable. But he says, I know what I need. I need that connection with God, and I'm confident that God will be gracious. Yeah. So who is the man who fears the Lord? So if we go back to this previous verse, it says, it's verse 12 there, he asks a question. The question is, who is the man who fears the Lord? What's the answer to that question?
Me.
Me.
Who's the man who fears the Lord?
Me.
Humble.
But you're a woman. You can.
Oh, dang. Missed
How
out.
does that work? How does that work?
Boom. Who is the man? So the question is, who is the man who fears the Lord? Well,
Those who love the Lord.
yeah, I think these sort of verses sort of answer that question. So verse 12, the one who is instructable and teachable. His soul shall abide in well-being. His offspring shall inherit the land. So that's sort of peace and tranquility. You know, we're going to be able to live here a long time and not get overrun. And friendship with the Lord, and we'll talk about that word friendship because you won't all have friendship, I'm certain of it, in your translation. He learns of the covenant type of relationship as God is making known his covenant. He's always looking. The man who fears the Lord, my eyes are ever towards the Lord. He can ask for grace and comfort in affliction.
Mm.
So, yeah, this it's talking a lot about, and what's interesting is, and you think of the phrase, the one who fears the Lord, it, normally associate fear, don't we, with dread,
Yeah.
Anxiety or that, that kind of thing. But there's none of that in this.
Yeah.
It's extremely positive, and it's very relational. It's very, very relational, and it's and trustworthy, and it's a wonderful picture. In fact, that word friendship there, the friendship of the Lord, is the word sod, which has a meaning, sort of a secret counsel, an intimate sharing. You know, there's someone you can probably just whisper in the ear of, sort of thing.
Yeah.
The friendship of the Lord is for those who fear Him. So again, it's this close relationship. God is making known His covenant. So you know how the relationship's supposed to work. It's the idea of a covenant. And at the end, the psalmist is saying there, verse 16, well, I need the intimacy. That's what I'm looking for. I need this kind of relationship. Anything else with that? That's the track I sort of went down when I looked at it, but you might be seeing something a bit differently.
The NIV has it put rather nicely, that verse 14, where yours says the friendship of the Lord.
Yeah.
NIV says the Lord confides in those who fear Him.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's the same as a deep friendship, but it's actually saying the Lord confides in us, which is pretty remarkable.
And there's sort of a trust inside of that as well, inside that idea. Yeah. Secret counsel.
New American says the secret of the Lord is for those who fear Him.
Yeah.
Similar to confiding.
Yeah, and that secret counsel idea. Yeah.
It's like a, you know, because when we hear the word fear, you know, it's basically like, you know, it can have connotations of like living under a rock and not, you know, not doing anything, you know, or being afraid. But in this, you know, in those, you know, dot points you've got there, it's, you know, it's very proactive, isn't it? And to, it sort of takes the scaremongering out of fear, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And just think, wow, that's yeah, it's like see it as a solid foundation.
We need a better word.
Yeah.
Reverence might be.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, last on the home stretch. The troubles of my heart are enlarged, bring me out of my distresses. Consider my affliction and my trouble, and forgive all my sins. Consider how many are my foes, and with what violent hatred they hate me. O guard my soul and deliver me. Let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. May integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. There it is again at the end. Redeem Israel, O God, out of all his troubles. So verse 17 to 20 seem to be talking about my problems, okay? The troubles of my heart, my distresses, my affliction, my trouble, my sins, my foes, they hate me, guard me and deliver me, let me not be put to shame. That's his lot. That's what's on his mind, internal and external. So it's in my affliction, my trouble, my sin, maybe more internal, but he's also got these enemies, these foes on the outside. So that seems to be there. But I was interested in verse 18 and 19. Notice that word consider. So again, he's talking with God here. Before he's talking about remember and do not remember, let's consider my affliction and my trouble and forgive all my sins. Consider how many of my foes. So it's interesting way of praying, isn't it? Do we ever say to God, consider this? Have you thought about this? It's a plea, but the idea of asking God to consider, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, again, the New Living Translation says, feel my pain and see my trouble.
Right.
So that's pretty right. Yeah.
empathize with me.
Mm.
Sometimes I pray, look at me, God, I'm a mess.
Yeah.
In something similar.
Mm.
And again, it says something about the relationship, doesn't it?
Yep.
That consider this, it's like I can put a rational, I can actually ask this, it's not out of, it's not out of bounds that I can ask you and you would actually take it on board. That's when we say consider this, we actually do want people to consider it, right? Think, understand from our perspective. So there's this kind of confidence within the relationship that he has, isn't there? I think that's what I'm noticing. And then he says, okay, well, here's the real request, verse 20. Guard my soul, deliver me, let me not be put to shame, for I take refuge in you. Guard my life. Guard my soul. That's my nephesh again. Guard my life. Deliver me. I'm trusting in you here, God. You're my refuge. May integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait for you. Maybe these are the things I have learned, but I'm waiting for you to act. Yeah. Any other thoughts on anything we see there?
He's definitely not asking for his bank account to be filled up, is he?
No.
Mm.
No. Guard my soul. Wow.
Yeah.
Guard my soul. I don't think I've ever prayed that, but that's a great prayer.
Yeah.
Was Job using the same sort of language as consider my affliction when he was, sort of backwards and forwards with the Lord in his argument? Was that his sort of?
Well, Job is certainly. I'd have to check, James, but Job is certainly poetic. So, but I think he had a bit more kind of unjustness in his heart. I think he was struggling with that a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okie doke. Biblical connections. No real clear ones. Like in the verse, the psalm is not quoted, but there's some ideas which come along. So in verse 3, we had none who wait for you will ever be put to shame. And that being put to shame is actually comes up a number of times, like in Romans. It should be Romans 10:11, not 20:11. And Isaiah. Anyone who believes in him will never be put to shame. So the idea of certainly trusting in God will never be put to shame. I think that's a great thing to remember.
Yeah.
And this humble learning attitude that we talked a bit about reminds me of Jesus when he says, take my yoke upon you, for I am gentle and humble and learn from that I'm gentle and humble in heart. It's one of my favourite verses in the whole Bible.
Yeah,
Matthew 28, 29. So we do see echoes of those sentiments we see in that psalm and in a number of other places. So what do you think he's really asking for? We read the whole psalm, we've talked about it. What does he really want?
He
Come
wants
on,
a
Rhonda.
close
Come on, Rhonda.
relationship.
Not talking.
I think he wants an intimate relationship. He wants comfort, closeness, teaching, rescue, all of those things that an intimate relationship with God can give you.
He does express there is a lot of intimate expression, isn't there? That friendship, that counsel idea, consider, Yeah.
And just that word lonely, I think
Yes.
that makes it very personal.
I'm lonely.
He's lonely for God.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
frightening.
Mm. Thanks, Nerida.
It's sort of it sort of takes God off a pedestal, and brings God into our realms, if you like.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's sort of
Yeah.
yeah. It's very relational, that's for sure.
Yes, very relational.
Mm.
Jem, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I need to consider as my relationship to God through the psalm and the humble and the instruction. Sometimes I sometimes oh it's hard for me to repent or to do this, but there should be always the asking and petition that it's not because what I do, but it is God who made me. It's not what I can do, but what He can do. That I need to trust in Him and
Learning to trust.
continually
Yeah.
trust in Him, and always
Yeah.
ask and humble and fear Him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. Sometimes it's great, I think, just to ask a question like that, which kind of, what's he really want? What's he really want? What's he really asking? Sometimes it just brings it all into focus, and that can be very, very wonderfully profound.
Yeah.
All right. Evaluation. So this is just a quote from one of the commentaries. And the part that I liked here starts about halfway through, and he says, so he prays that God would show him the road and make him walk in it. He knows that he does not deserve such guidance and strength, but as one forgiven of sin, he is confident that God will show him the road again. Psalm 1 was comparing Psalm 1 to this one as a signpost which directs the wise to the choice of the right road. Psalm 25 is a companion for use along the way. I like that idea. The psalm is a companion for use along the way.
Mm.
And and you get that sense, don't you? He's walking through life, he's learning, and it's just like this intimate conversation thing going on, a companion for use along the way. I thought that was quite a good take on it.
Mm.
All right, so I come to the end. So how's this psalm impacted me? Any new insight? How do you find yourself responding? Do you, asking God to consider? Do we just ask, or do we think in terms of persuasion in our prayers? How teachable am I? Just some prompters there. Rhonda, feel as free as you
Hey?
wish to say whatever you would like.
I didn't hear that.
Feel as free as you wish to say whatever you would like.
One of the things that impacted me or jumped out at me was that a good way to pray. I got there's some really good prayers there.
Yeah, fantastic.
And but as far it is certainly about intimacy with the Lord, and where he's asking God to remember things. I've actually that is to do with a relationship. I've actually reminded God, reminded God that He said, therefore. And it's like with your earthly father, you know. Dad, you said remember you said,
You
I'm reminding
promised.
you said that if I finish my homework.
That's right. Well, that's the picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is the picture. I think that's right. Yeah.
So it was just a nice underlining of the relationship we can have with God.
Yeah. Thank you. So anybody else want to say something?
I
Yes,
like
reminded
those.
me.
Sorry,
Go,
Nerida.
Craig.
Sorry.
No, go, Craig.
No, you go. You go. Mine's not.
It has reminded me that when I'm feeling, you know, a bit lonely, a bit stressed, a bit discouraged, that the solution is prayer rather than, you know, hitting the fridge or going for a walk. It's because that all I have to do is re-engage that relationship with God, and He will certainly respond.
Yeah, awesome. Craig.
I think you know, we for those that have probably been around churches for a while, and you know, the way that we gauge our relationship with God sort of depends on X, Y, and Z. And you know, I really like those you know, those dot points that you had, because, like, you know, just a simple question like, you know, am I teachable? You know, and you know, just that friendship aspect as well. And it just makes more sense biblically, I suppose, you know, to and this psalm clearly, you know, has just, it's I know I'll be referring back to it, you know, for the, you know, many days to come, because it is it's just been great, you know.
Really awesome. I'm gonna have to close this. I have to leave, actually. I've got to pick my wife up. So she's out on the street, I think. But it's been a great that's been a great discussion. So thanks to everybody, and I hope that's been a blessing to you, just going through Psalm 25 tonight. And next time we're going to skip one and go to 27. So that's where we are at.
All right.
Sorry, Psalm 26, but we're going to go to 27. So Psalm 26 is a little bit similar to some of the other ones we've done. So I thought we'd try something a little bit more. So that's what we'll be doing next time. So until next week, we'll be back next week.
Before you